Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be previewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Week 7 matchup versus the Chicago Bears. If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button if you do enjoy these types of videos, and leave your thoughts and your score predictions for this Buccaneers Week 7 matchup versus the Bears down in the comments section below. I would very much love to hear your guys' score predictions and how you think this game is going to go overall. Also, I do want to say thank you guys so much for 3 million total video views here on the channel. It's absolutely an awesome thing, and again, I couldn't do any of this without your guys' support, so it really does mean the absolute world to me. But let's go ahead and start previewing this game. I have a lot of thoughts about the Buccaneers versus the Bears here going into week number 7, Sunday at 4:25 p.m. And that first thought was this. I remember that 2020 game. For those of you who don't remember, back in the 2020 season, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers actually played the Chicago Bears. I believe Nick Foles was the quarterback at the time, and man, that game did not go in the Buccaneers' favor at all. The Buccaneers lost that game in 2020 with a final score of 20-19, and a meme was born when Tom Brady held up his hand, confused because he didn't know what down it was. He thought it was 3rd down. No, it was actually 4th down. Again, a meme was born there. Everybody laughed at the Bucs. They laughed at Tom Brady. Oh, old man Tom, he lost to Nick Foles again. Ha ha ha. Isn't that funny? But at the end of the day, the Buccaneers actually had the last laugh as they went on to win the Super Bowl last year. So take that, everybody who laughed at that Tom Brady meme. Admittedly, it was a pretty funny meme, but the Buccaneers now have their chance to get revenge on the Bears for last year's game, right? Get that monkey off their back. There really isn't one there, but darn it, I want the Buccaneers to get revenge, and I know everybody who is watching this video that is a Bucs fan wants them to get revenge as well. So that was 100% the first thing that came back to my mind was, oh man, I remember that 2020 game from last year. I remember the memes of Tom Brady. It was painful to see, but now I'm ready for the Buccaneers to hopefully exact some amount of revenge here. Even though Nick Foles has been pushed all the way down to the 3rd string quarterback, darn it, it'll still feel good if the Buccaneers win. Now, the next thing that I thought about was the Buccaneers have actually been on quite a roll recently. It's no secret. They've won 3 games in a row while the offense has looked pretty darn good. They just put up 28 points against the Eagles. The week before that, they put up 45 points against the Miami Dolphins. So, yeah, it goes without saying the offense has looked great. Tom Brady has looked masterful. The wide receivers have looked great. Even the running game has gotten going with Leonard, Fournette. Overall, the offense has done their job in stride, and the defense, given all the circumstances revolving around all the injuries they've had, I think has done a very serviceable job. All of that to say that the Buccaneers are gaining more momentum in their favor as the weeks carry on here, and it's definitely showing. They came away from that Rams game, took one on the chin, essentially, and now they're coming back stronger than ever with 3 straight wins, all, you know, in pretty impressive fashion one way or the other, be it where they just blow out the team or they have the willpower, I guess you could say, to survive comebacks from the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got momentum on their side going into this upcoming game. Now, the Bears, on the other hand, have been up and down. Yeah, they've won, I believe, 2 out of their last 3 games, which is impressive, I think, but there's definitely been some questions surrounding this team. Mainly the quarterback position. There have been some questions as to what's going on there throughout the first quarter of the season. Andy Dalton was the starter. He got hurt. Justin Fields came in. Matt Nagy was bouncing back and forth between whether or not he wanted to start Justin Fields or start Andy Dalton. He eventually said, okay, we're starting Justin Fields. That is how it's going to be. Even though Andy Dalton is healthy, Justin Fields has now remained the starter. That is the quarterback the Buccaneers are going to face in this upcoming game. We'll go back to him in a moment. But besides that, the questions about the offense, it seems like the defense has taken a little bit of a step back here for this Bears team from their usual dominant ways. Yes, they still have one of the best defensive players in the league in Khalil Mack, arguably the best defensive player in the league besides maybe Aaron Donald, but in other category, I guess in other position groups, they've taken a step back, right? This isn't the same Bears defense that has been as insanely dominant as we've seen in the past couple of years. They've maybe taken a small step back, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong about that. Let me know down in the comments section below what you guys think. But also, one thing that's very, very important to keep a note of is that the Bears have been dealing with a lot of injuries. David Montgomery, he is on the injured reserve. Robert Quinn, he is on the illness list. There's a couple of others that are thrown in there as well. Those are the two big names. The Bears are dealing with some injuries, and, you know, it shows, definitely. They're out, you know, they're out their starting running back. They're out one of their starting pass rushers, one of their better pass rushers at that. They're a banged-up team. Also, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a banged-up team as well. We've talked about that at length, so this really is going to be two injury-riddled teams going head-to-head against each other, and we'll see whose depth is stronger, right? We've always talked about that next man up mentality. It's going to apply to both teams here, and it should be a very, very interesting thing to pay attention to. Now I want to go back and talk about Justin Fields. Okay, I thought about Justin Fields and the quarterback position for the Chicago Bears. And, you know, whatever they want to do, be it starting Andy Dalton, being it starting Justin Fields, call it whatever you will. In my opinion, I feel like Justin Fields should have been the starter from the very beginning. I think he's a very dynamic quarterback who can do a lot of good things both with his arm and especially with his mobility as well. He reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts, a quarterback that the Buccaneers just played. And while I do think Justin Fields is a very impressive quarterback, and I think he will do some amazing things in this league, he's still got a ways to go. His offensive line isn't very good. The Buccaneers pass rush should be able to take advantage of that. Look at guys like Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Joe Tryon. And right now as it stands, I question the pairing regarding Justin Fields and the Bears coaching staff with Matt Nagy. It doesn't seem like a perfect fit, in my opinion. I think that the Bears could potentially get a coach and a coaching staff out there that could suit the talents of Justin Fields more than what they have currently there. And that isn't to say that Matt Nagy is a bad head coach or he has a bad coaching staff. I just think that the Bears could do some things differently with how they handle Justin Fields and, I guess, prop him up better to give him a better chance of succeeding. And I feel like the Buccaneers can take advantage of all of that with the Bears offense, you know, lacking some of their firepower due to injuries, with there being some growing pains with Justin Fields and the coaching staff not really putting him on a pedestal or, I guess, bumping up his game as much as they could, and the offensive line being flawed as well. The Buccaneers could take advantage of that with their banged-up defense. The pass rush, I think, could get to Justin Fields a little bit quicker, and that should be able to help out where they do have those injuries in the cornerback and secondary room. So we'll just have to pay attention to see if that does end up happening. Honestly, guys, this game reminds me a lot of the Eagles game that the Buccaneers just got done playing. When you take a look at the Chicago Bears team, they seem like they're in limbo right now, right? They're questioning whether or not they're reloading or rebuilding, and they're somewhere in between, right? We've seen this with teams recently this season. I just talked about the Philadelphia Eagles. There have been other teams like the Atlanta Falcons who have been in that same boat as well. There is that question of, are they rebuilding, just saying, whatever, we're a rebuilding team, or are they reloading? We don't know, right? The Bears made the playoffs last year, but now it seems like there's more questions than answers as to what's going on with this team, especially on that offensive side of the football. And I think just right now as it stands, the Bears are built very similarly to what the Eagles are right now. Yes, they do have Khalil Mack, again, one of the best defensive players in the entire league, but after that, there's just some questions, not so much on the defensive side of the football, maybe in some areas, but especially on the offensive side of the football. They need to find their identity, and they need to work out some things, and I feel like the Buccaneers could very well take advantage and put up some points against what is right now, in my opinion, a very middling team that definitely has some questions that they need to answer here coming up. So that is kind of my thoughts on this game coming up here, guys. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win with a final score of 27-17. I look for the offense to continue to do some really good things, despite the fact that they are going up against, yet again, a pretty darn good defense in the Chicago Bears. That defense has taken a bit of a step back, and the Buccaneers defense versus the Bears offense, you know, honestly, guys, I'm probably going to call it even. The Bears are going to be without their starting star running back in David Montgomery. The Buccaneers are still without a good amount of their cornerbacks and potentially Levante David as well, but the offense just hasn't been able to seem to click that much for the Bears in recent weeks, and I feel like the Buccaneers defense can take advantage of that. So we'll see what happens. But what do you guys think about everything I talked about? Give me your thoughts about this game down in the comments section below. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.